Hi, my name is Carlene, and this is my channel, See It with C. And on today, I will be flying in Air France's business class, heading back home to Washington, D.C. On a Boeing 777-200ER. Actually, I was planning to be in the main cabin. However, upon arrival to Charles De Gaulle Airport, I decided to stop past the ticketing desk to see how much it would cost to upgrade my flight from economy to business class. And for this trip in particular, I was notified that to upgrade to premium economy, it would be about 200 euros. And to upgrade to the business class product, it would be 699 euros. So I ended up deciding that I would just go ahead and go all out and upgraded my ticket 699 euros to the business class experience, as I didn't want to get in a premium economy and it feel like I was just basically in a seat with more legroom. So my first stop upon getting into the airport after purchasing the ticket, there was a dedicated line to get check-in for security, so there is a priority lane. Then I was off to the lounge. When you upgrade for Air France, you are able to use their priority lounge product, and this lounge was pretty large. It was not too crowded. There was a variety of spaces, so there was a quiet area, there was a area for nursing mothers, there was two large buffets, of course bars. So I found this lounge experience to kind of meet everyone's needs, and it was just very spacious, so it didn't feel like people were on top of one another and breathing on one another. There was also things like magazine racks and stands, so I appreciated this lounge experience. While in the lounge, I decided to have the beef bourguignon, I hope I'm saying that right, over some mashed potatoes. So I decided to get a pre-flight meal and a little glass of red wine to enjoy before heading to my flight. And I situated myself right in front of the screen so I can see what time the flying time was, or what time my flight was to board. One thing that you will learn about boarding processes in other countries, particularly in Europe, they don't announce your gate until about 30 minutes prior to boarding. There is not a lot of comfortable spaces to sit around the airport. So this might be the experience where you want to upgrade your experience or get a lounge pass so that you can comfortably wait for your flight. But you don't want to wait too late, because again, often in Europe and also with Charles de Gaulle, sometimes you have a gate that is right by the gate that's connected to the jetway, and other times you have to catch a bus to your plane to board. So upon time to board, we had a first class was announced first, and we had a priority line. We also had our own jetway to board the plane, and that kind of kept some things separate. You didn't have to have the people who were staring in your face while you were, while they were boarding. It was just really the first class passengers. And the way that this Boeing 777, I believe, is set up is that the first class configuration is 1-2-1. So basically, one pod to on the windows, and then in the middle there are connecting seats, so you and your travel partner can sit with each other in first class, enjoy and have champagne, wine, and enjoy the first class experience together. Because I upgraded at the airport, I was assigned a seat. I didn't have much choice, but the attendant gave me a seat near the window, and it didn't connect to other seats, and I found it to be pretty decently private, and again, very comfortable for this about 7.5 hour flight back to DC from Charles de Gaulle. Upon boarding, the seats are situated in a way that you'll have your adequate cabins or adequate overhead bin space. You don't have to worry about cramming your things in the overhead bins. There's plenty of space for that. When you get to your seat, there are all of your amenities. So there are some slippers, there's a hanger for you to put your coat, and then I believe the attendant will take it. I don't think there was a cabinet or a closet in this seat, but you hold up the hanger and the attendant will come. There was a pillow. You have headphones that connect. I use my Bose plugins, but there is a storage with a mirror right there. You have a lot of space to put items. There are plugs that give you a bottle of water. There is an air sick bag, as well as a moderately sized TV and a footwell here. They really stress making sure that nothing was underneath your seat. As you can see, I'm here in seat 3A with the entertainment system, and it has a variety of languages. It has at least 2 windows for you to stare out and enjoy the view. I did notice that some of the things around the cabin looked a little dated, but we'll get into that in a second. In the meantime, I kind of just explored the entertainment system to see what it had to offer, as well as the movie selections, entertainment selections, those kind of things, and of course the preview video for the introductory video for the product. I found the entertainment system to have a variety of movies and television shows, as well as music experience, as well as some games. The movie selection was a little limited for English. The television selection was a little better. It was enough for a 7-hour flight for me to find. If the flight were like a longer, like maybe 10 or 11 hours or longer, I would probably have started to run out of things to watch via the screens. But it was adequate. Again, options. I've seen worse.
Madame, monsieur, bienvenue à bord. Sur ce petit bateau de décembre à destination de l'Ouest.
Not only was there an adequate amount of movies and entertainment, the entertainment system also had a variety of features. So you could turn the lights on and off in the cabin. You could call the cabin attendant, which I never had to. I found that on this flight, the cabin attendants really balanced the amount of attentiveness for it to be a 7-hour, 50-minute flight that would have a portion overnight. They weren't too overwhelming, but they weren't like, they didn't, disappear too much. I also know that this cabin was a little dated. On the side, there was some splashes of, I don't know, maybe a old coffee, some kind of stain that wasn't wiped down. There was a little bit of grit in certain sections of the seat. However, for the 7-hour and 50-minute flight, I really was kind of going for the ability to lie back, put my feet up, and have a decent meal versus, thinking about like, am I in the newest first class product? The seat also came with an amenity kit, and I found the amenity kit to be pretty comprehensive with all the things that you might need for a long flight. So the amenity kit came with toothpaste, it came with lotion, it came with a facial tightener, which I found interesting. It came with a pen, sleep mask, and just everything really that you would need to get through a long flight, because as you know, it gets pretty dry up when you're flying for that period of time. Next was the menu, and I found the menu to be pretty comprehensive for the food offerings. The menu here has an introduction and then goes through a pretty extensive wine selection. You get to see what your food options are for the evening. There is a snack service as well as some sort of like buffet area in the back, and then you have a pre-landing snack. So the menu is kind of helpful for orienting me to all the possibilities for food and drinks that I will be able to be at my beck and call during this business class flight. Here is the full review of the menu, and let me know what sticks out to you regarding to what would you have ate or drank on this 7-hour and 15-minute flight. Let me know that in the comments. Once on board, you have an option of either champagne, orange juice, or water. In the French tradition, I decided to go for the champagne because why not? And then before pushing back, there was a safety briefing, and it was by video. Here is the full safety video for your viewing pleasure.
Veuillez alors retirer votre masque chirurgical et tirer sur le masque pour libérer l'oxygène, puis placez-le sur votre visage.
Please take off your surgical mask and pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen and place it over your nose and mouth.
Une fois votre masque ajusté, il vous sera possible d'aider d'autres personnes.
Make sure your own mask is well adjusted before helping other passengers.
Selon les non-fumeurs,
This is a non-smoking flight.
et l'usage de la cigarette électronique n'est pas autorisé, y compris dans les toilettes.
It is forbidden to smoke electronic cigarettes, even in the toilets.
Les cigarettes électroniques doivent être conservées sur vous et la recharge électrique est interdite.
Electronic cigarettes should be carried with you, and charging them on board is not permitted.
Les appareils électroniques doivent être réglés en mode avion pendant toute la durée du vol, mais vous pouvez utiliser Wi-Fi et Bluetooth.
All electronic devices must be set to airplane mode for the duration of the flight, but you can
We had a pretty significantly long taxiing to get to our runway. I feel like we were taxiing about 15 maybe minutes or so before getting off the ground here in Charles de Gaulle. But of course you have a lot of views in regards to plane spotting. You get to see a variety of aircraft as well as get a good tour of the airfield. Here I'm increasing the playback speed by 4 just to not bore you to tears, but just know we were not taxiing this fast, but because of the length of the taxiing, I didn't want you all to get too bored by the playback, but I wanted you to see what the airfield looks like at Paris Charles De Gaulle. One of the significant views in Charles de Gaulle is at some point the taxiways cross over a highway, so you get to see that, and it's kind of cool to experience. And we're still chugging down the taxiway trying to figure out where we are going to take off into the skies on this cloudy day. After significantly long time taxiing to get where we needed to go, it was time to get on our runway, so we turned and lined up, and I'm going to be quiet so that you can hear these engines gear up and start roaring. We are almost out of the clouds here, and y'all, look at this beautiful horizon. Finally, we were off, and despite the gloomy, cloudy look of things, the flight was pretty smooth heading to Washington Dulles Airport. Even with some of the overhead clouds, it wasn't too bumpy at all. It was a pretty smooth flight. So was very grateful for having not too wild of a ride as we headed over the Atlantic to Washington, D.C. Once in the air, we were given a hot hand towel. So I wiped down my face first, then I wiped off my grubby hands and really just kind of settled into the flight. I like to, kind of pull my hair back, and just really get comfortable. I use my Apple AirPod Maxes. There is a way that you can use your own headphones when you're flying. You can use an attachment that kind of plugs in to your entertainment center, and it uses the Bluetooth function to transmit the sounds to your AirPod Maxes, and it worked during this flight. There was also Wi-Fi available on this flight in case it was needed, but I think I was pretty entertained with just having the entertainment system. So I relaxed for a bit, and then it was time for the meal service. This initial appetizer, I believe, was the goat cheese and some sort of fiber mix. EU's cheese with chives, hazelnut, and granola with chestnut honey. It was okay. I kept eating it. I think I might have got a little hungry at this point, but overall I would say the food experience was not the best. One of my favorite airline meals to this date was my first solo trip on Air France, and they had this seafood creamy pasta. I was expecting exceptional food service in business class, but it left a lot to be desired, at least what I chose. But another glass of champagne eases some of that worry and pain related to the greater meal. And again, it just feels good to have somewhere to kick up your feet. Here you can see that there is a they give you a nice size comforter to kind of keep yourself warm in between each meal service or portion of the meal. You get more drinks delivered. So it was a decent balance here, but the food, I wouldn't say knock your socks off. I would probably give this, for a business class experience, between maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. The options, and it could be what I picked, but the options just did not knock my socks off personally. After the starter, there was a few more, starter options. I can't remember what to call these, but there was a shrimp, there was a carrot and quinoa, and a salad with French bread. My main dish was cod with some sort of a horseradish. And again, the cod had an opportunity to be a really standout, but it was kind of giving economy fish. The sauce here made things a little better, but again, I have had better experiences. Instead of for dessert, I just decided to go with cheese and a glass of wine before settling in for the evening with more television. This raspberry sorbet, though, was top tier. It was really cold. It was not melting. It was the perfect consistency. Before settling in for the evening, I came into the bathroom to take a tour, brush my teeth, and here is what the bathroom situation is. There are bottles of, you should not use the water in the toilet to brush your teeth. So, bring your bottle of water with you. They had, again, the bathroom here in first class is not the best bathroom situation I've ever seen, but again, got the job done. I settled back, and prepared myself for my bed. I am a girl who prefers to wrap my hair with a little scarf just to enjoy my pod area, because we got to keep these edges laid. But so I kind of prepared for the rest of the flight by just relaxing, since we still had a few more hours to go. I found the recline on the seat to be pretty comfortable. The footrest could have been wider, but again, it beats being in the back of the plane in cramped economy. There were buttons on the side of the chair to get you to recline, so I did, and that kind of helped, relax myself as well. So I would say overall the chair was comfortable. I did not, for this flight, ask for any extra bedding or but they do have a comforter. They have a mattress pad that you can add to your seat to make things a little more comfortable for, again, this relatively short international flight. I just was comfortable with what was already provided in my seating area. After lights off, there was a snack buffet in the front of the cabin. At about the hour and 15-minute mark away from landing, there is a final meal service. Again, it was kind of like a sandwich with an egg salad sandwich. It was not my favorite, but again, it did the job of, just a snack to get me home without being fully hungry. Overall, would I say this experience was worth it? Well, I decided to stay in my economy seat, and that was because it was an evening flight at night, and it wasn't super long, so that was fine. But coming back, I knew I was going to be returning to work the next day. So I think overall, the upgrade of having the ability to lay back, relax, knowing that I was going to start a full work day after, I think it made it worth it. However, this Air France product was overall, I say for like a business class experience, I would give it about maybe a 3-star, 6 or 7 out of 10 if you're on that scale experience. Really, the reason that you want to do this is for just kind of back, shoulder comfort, as well as maybe more of an enhanced meal experience. But it got the job done related to business class. We were safely on the ground in Washington Dulles, and we pulled to our gate. And that concludes this flight on Air France 777 from Charles de Gaulle to Washington Dulles Airport. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you make an informed decision and allows you to know that there are options. If you don't book your seat first class immediately, you always can purchase an upgrade at the airport. If there is space available, they will sell it to you on an individual basis. So this is COC. Thanks for traveling with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.